I learned at dinner Saturday night that for the Jurassic Park movies, they just took elephant sounds and what were the other ones? Geese sounds and some other sounds and just slowed them down to the dinosaur movies.
Oh, that's.
That is really cool. Dude, they used to real. And I believe that's awesome. I trust you. They broke up on.
All right, go ahead, Tiffany.
Okay, so what I started my paper with, I decided to start with defining reality, because if you can't have any kind of concrete reality to base your existence on, then anybody can say that you don't exist based on their reality or what they deem their definition of reality to be. So this, get that out of here. You cannot, reality as it stands in the modern world cannot be defined under just the term reality. This has no meaning, all right? Over time, philosophers have been trying to redefine reality in a way that actually makes sense with our existence. And these guys
brothers.
How sexist we are.
So these four, he was 16th century, he was 18th century, and these are 2000s.
Movies.
And
I believe the news
yes.
just came out in 90s.
But they, over time, all of them have kind of conflicted against each other and come together to form what, I took all of these together to form what I thought the actual definition of reality is, which breaks down into base reality and external reality. Descartes is the one, he was working under the whole there's only one objective reality thing. And he said, I think, therefore I am, and because I can think, I can prove that everything else exists in this objective reality because I'm existing. Now, Berkeley was 18th century, and he wasn't a very big fan of Descartes. And he said that reality is subjective, and an object only exists as you are perceiving it. And he actually came up with an experiment to demonstrate this. And the Matrix took Descartes and Berkeley and kind of fused it together into this, there is an objective reality, and subjective reality, which is the external reality. And then Inception took the Matrix and proved how humans can believe in an external reality, even if it is not true to the base reality. Now, Descartes' famous statement of the reality theory, he's the most famous because he says, I think, therefore I am. Now, in order to be able to think in the first place, you have to have some kind of tangible object to lock your mind onto. And if you don't have that kind of tangible object, you are unaware of yourself. And if you're unaware of yourself, you cannot think. But because we are not otherworldly, we're not above reality, we are in reality. We are not the admins, we are not the players, we're not God, we're not world builder, we're not puppet masters, we're not anything like that. We do not get to see what reality what reality actually is. Berkeley took Descartes and came up with the experiment as to proving that there cannot be an objective reality from the human standpoint, which is why it got broken into base reality and external reality. Take this, and you have a picture of it in your mind, because you're seeing it. One of you can touch it. You're going to touch it. Yeah, you touch it yet? So close your eyes. Reality has just changed.
Oh my God, it blew me away.
I see it over here.
It was there. I heard it.
You must be a magician.
Yes.
This is not working out.
Reality, what Berkeley claimed was that if you have something that's tangible, it's like an apple, you have it in your mind, but then you close your eyes, and all you have is the image of that apple in your mind. the apple could be disappeared, it could have been eaten, it could have been moved someplace else, but then reality has changed. And it is not as the base reality is claiming it to be, is what, according to what Berkeley said. Now, what I'm basing most of my theory on is the matrix, because the base reality and the external reality is, the base reality is always there because it's objective reality, but the external reality is created by the human mind. Because we are not admins, so we are not even players in the game, we don't get to see how reality works. And because we have no rules, no regulations, and we can't even see the whole playing field, when we come into existence, our mind is forced to come up with its own rules to handle thinking and how it exists. And these are the 5 senses. It's the seeing, the touching, the feeling, the smelling, the tasting, all of that good stuff. But we all know that reality, that kind of reality is subjective to each person, because what Courtney says with the eraser, and she touched it and she's like, oh, it was an eraser. Mo could have said it was a rock. She's like, why are you feeling a rock? That's stupid. And Inception, it proves why people can believe that external reality, because external reality is subjective. Because in the movie Inception, they are going through different layers of dream world, but in each layer of the dream world, the dude that they're, I don't even remember his name, but the dude whose dreams they're actually using thinks it's reality the entire time.
Fisher.
Fisher, yes.
Just trying to call her Sail. Fisher.
So Fisher, the entire time, thinks that each dream level he is in is the actual reality. Even though they're going through different dreams each and every single time they're traveling through down towards limbo level, he's actually in a dream, and he's not in objective reality, which is base reality. Now that we have base and external and we have them actually defined, we can start talking about existence. I have something in here. Yes. Okay. Humans can perceive the external reality, and the base reality exists and they can perceive the external reality. Now there's a problem will come when you're talking about coma patients, because obviously they're not really experiencing external reality because they're kind of in bed, But it is at essence subjective. We all know that even with people like schizophrenia patients and stuff like that, they see something that either isn't there to us or is different from how we see it. So that the human mind can skew the sensory receptors, they can skew the 5 senses so much that if you were looking from an outside perspective and you see, oh, here's the base reality, here's external reality, you can be like, whoa, that guy's way, this is what base reality says, that guy's way off what base reality is telling me this is. So coma patients, without being the coma patient himself, without being in his brain, sitting there in his reality, like chilling out, he could have created an entire world within his coma. He could be living as the CEO of Apple or something. Pretend Steve Jobs is in a coma. He could be living as the CEO of Apple.
Ironic.
And he would never know the difference until he comes out of the coma and he's like, whoa, it's 2011 and we have TVs and cell phones that are really tiny and all this other stuff. Like some guy fell in coma in 1970. He's been living in the 1970s his entire life, and then he wakes up and he's like, oh god. Really? And that's what's happening with The Matrix. The Matrix, the movie, the computer program was in 1999. You come out of the main character came out of the Matrix and realized that it was about 300 years in the future, and he had been living a lie his entire life, which was very sad for him. But that is why external reality is subjective as compared to the base reality. Now, existence comes from the fact that I know I exist because I am currently, my papers are all over the place, I am currently living in a base reality, alright? And I know I'm living in a reality because my sensory receptors are telling me that these things, this thing I just wrote on the board that I can't touch, because I can touch it. That I am existing because I'm thinking about it and I'm touching it. And I am aware that I'm existing, which means that my mind is locked onto the base reality. The base reality is telling me you are existing because you're thinking and you are self-aware. And now, existence is really complicated. And now I'm open for questions.